Anyone who has felt the sudden, sharp burn of acid reflux knows the immediate relief that comes from dropping a fizzing tablet into water or swallowing a daily pill. Over-the-counter acid reducers are a fixture in millions of medicine cabinets. Medications like proton pump inhibitors, or PPIs, and H2 blockers are remarkably effective. They dial back the acid produced in the stomach, providing essential, reliable relief for conditions like GERD and peptic ulcers. This chart shows the baseline risk for developing gallstones. As the second bar rises, it illustrates an elevated risk for regular acid suppressant users. Expanding the chart reveals a higher risk spike for acute cholangitis in patients actively taking PPIs. This raises a question of anatomy. How does a medication designed to suppress acid production in the stomach end up causing physical stones to form in an entirely separate organ? The human digestive tract is a delicate, highly interconnected chemical ecosystem where a change at the top can ripple through the entire system. Digestion is driven by chain reactions. When food enters the stomach, it creates specific chemical signals that travel further down the gastrointestinal tract to prepare the next stages of the process. Here is how the gut-bile axis handles those signals. Receiving the message from the stomach, the gallbladder releases cascading droplets of bile into the small intestine. Bile acts as a chemical detergent, breaking apart and emulsifying large dietary fats so the body can absorb them. Bile acids operate in a loop called enterohepatic recycling. They reach the end of the small intestine, are reabsorbed, and travel back to the liver to be used again. Efficient fat digestion relies on this continuous closed-loop functioning multiple times a day without interference. When stomach acid is suppressed, the chemical signals traveling down to the gallbladder can become weak and erratic, altering the start of the digestive chain reaction. As we zoom in on the intestinal tract, we see a second consequence. Lowering the acidity of the stomach alters the pH further down the line, which shifts the color and density of the bacteria living in the intestinal microbiome. Those specific intestinal bacteria have a crucial job. They metabolize primary bile acids and convert them into secondary bile acids, preparing them for that recycling process back to the liver. When the microbiome population shifts, the recycling system falls out of balance. Researchers point to this specific disruption in bile processing as the biologically plausible mechanism for why gallstones begin to form. By introducing a permanent chemical change at the very top of the digestive chain, the lower organs are forced to adapt, yielding physical consequences downstream. Despite these findings, patients must never abruptly stop taking prescribed acid suppressants without physician oversight. This carries the risk of rebound acid hypersecretion, where the stomach overproduces acid to compensate for the sudden change. For the majority of users, the absolute risk increase remains modest. Millions of people use these medications to manage severe conditions safely for years. The research suggests that specific individuals should be proactive, specifically those that have been on daily PPIs or H2 blockers for over 2 years, or anyone with a personal or family history of gallbladder disease. These individuals should monitor for early warning signs, new sensitivities to rich foods, unexplained upper right abdomen discomfort, disproportionate bloating after a meal, or noticeably lighter stool color. These findings provide a prompt for long-term users to track their digestive health and bring the topic of gallbladder function into their next routine physician visit. For people experiencing long-term changes in how their bodies process fats, a common step is seeking out targeted dietary supplements, specifically formulated to support bile availability. This is where developers like our sponsor, Medisyn Labs, focus their research, creating targeted formulations for digestive support. They developed Gallavance Original, which contains a combination of bile acids and phospholipids designed to assist the body with emulsifying dietary fats. And for consumers seeking that same bile support without animal-derived ingredients, they also created Gallavance plant-based. As this diagram shows, these formulas utilize delayed-release capsules that remain intact through the stomach. They only open upon reaching the intestinal tract, exactly where fat emulsification occurs. Gallavance is a dietary supplement, not a cure or an acid suppressant adjunct. Always consult your prescribing physician before adding any supplement to your routine to ensure your medical team has a complete picture of your health regimen. Note that these statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration, and this product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.